people take advantage of people weaknesses out here, and they, you know, when when you start having self love again, and you start.
Oh, okay. So how long have you been sober now?
Now I've been sober. Okay, I still personally,
Mm-hmm.
I still consider the fifth a sober for me because I mean that's I slipped on the 12th when I got out of Cherry Hospital. It wasn't because of pressure or anything. I think it's because of the environment and the people, places, and things. It's a very real statement. Um, you know, I've been in drug addiction since I was 16 years old.
You said you've been what?
And it lost the addiction and the insanity of it since I was 16.
Since 16.
Yes.
Okay. What was some of the things that you first started with? Try to use not the actual
The
word, but
behavior.
street
Oh, okay,
words.
sure. Okay, well, the first drug, the first substance I was used street work. Okay, fine. The first stuff I got home was Percocet.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Percocet.
Uh-huh.
And that's how I got started. You know, it never come from the doctor. And
Okay.
then when the doctor got realized I was addicted, tried to cut me off. I went to heroin because it was cheaper, and it
Okay.
did the same thing to my brain. So
Okay.
number
So
one,
how old were you when you got on, those hard things?
17.
17. Yeah. This is Brittany Lucas. She's the one who was at the fire that night on William Street. And so she was out here wanting to kind of get some help for the homeless. Ever since that fire, what did that fire kind of help you out with?
It I thought that, you know, even though I had been in that church. I had been in church for 2 years, and it became home to me. I had got, you know, used to the animal way of living. You know what I'm saying?
The animal way.
Animal way of living. Yes,
Okay. And so all of those clothes that was out there that night, were those your clothes?
they were.
Oh, okay. So
I didn't realize they were outside that night.
yeah, yeah, in the front yard.
Oh, the front. Oh no, no. The ones in the front yard was actually boxes of stuff that we had against the door, so nobody could, you know, just come in on me because I couldn't get that door locked for some reason.
Okay.
And so I just piled stuff up because when I woke up in there, someone was standing over top of me. You know, that scared me.
Okay.
But I always felt safe at that church. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
And I felt like God was looking out for me in that church every time I was there. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And I felt closer to God in that church. And when it burnt, like it really, I felt like God was speaking to me, telling me to get out of Goldsboro, telling me to get away. It's time for my turn to cheat, you know. And I really wanted it. And I know that I did. Addiction was fun at first.
Uh-huh.
You know, I glorified it at first. It was having fun. But it
Yeah.
got to the point where it wasn't fun anymore. And it became life. It became a very sad life to live. So,
So how long ago was that fire? What was that about?
I think I'm not exactly sure what date it was. I know it was right before Thanksgiving, right?
I don't
Yeah, it
remember.
was right before Thanksgiving. But that fire did things for me inside that
Uh-huh.
I really needed. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So those brothers to me, there is a big homeless community here. And yes, some choose to be out there, but I don't think nobody wakes up and says I don't want lights, water, and one place to stay. Da 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 da. If we're willing to put the work in, and I know I sure am.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna. Everybody's not going to be like that. You know what I'm saying? But I know that a little nudge is all I need to get myself together. Please, let's raise money for the homeless. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Please. If we take some of these, you know, these old buildings and turn it into whatever, I'm willing to volunteer my labor, my cleanup, and prayer. Just pray for us. Don't give up on us because we're people and we're children of God, and we
Oh.
need y'all.
So she kind of you kind of right now, you said you were going to go to a recovery facility.
I am in Columbus, Ohio. I can't make no promises of what's gonna happen. I know
Uh-huh.
that inside I'm truly done. You know, that's my mindset as of now. But I know that it's not gonna be easy. I know that life ain't gonna become peaches and cream because I'm clean. You know, y'all still gonna have problems, but when I went to your hospital, I went to the past and I listened. You
Okay.
know, I use coping skills now, and I utilize the tools that they gave me.
How long were you in Cherry?
I went to charity the first time for 6 months.
6 months in Cherry.
Exactly.
Anybody don't know what Cherry is? That's like the mental institution in here in Goldsboro, North Carolina. So you was in Cherry for
It's a
six
mental
months.
hospital.
Mental hospital.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like that.
So then you got out of
I
Cherry.
got out in December of last year, and I was completely clean. I looked good. I felt good. I was ready, and people, places, and things. You
Peaceful.
know, I did
Mm.
accomplish a few things when I was in Cherry, because Cherry's a good stepping stone. Listen to me, my fellow addicts. Charity can be a stepping stone if you'll use what they give you, but you gotta want it.
Okay.
6 months ain't nothing compared to being out here as long as we have, and you know, this is how I look at it. Somebody said something to me in church. Somebody said, go for that sobriety like you did in drugs.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
that's
if
what you have to
slip,
do.
it's okay. Keep going. Don't
That's,
say the road's over because it's not. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So, but just know it can be done. And when I do get myself together, Goldsboro, and as well known as I am, I want people to see that's like me, that we can take it serious.
Mm-hmm.
That we are not a joke. We're not nothing to be laughed at or put on Facebook Live when we're just trying to live. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We can be professional and we can be an asset to our community.
So how long have you been out here, like as far as like,
21 years.
homeless and you
20
know,
years in addiction. I can say I've lost
12?
21,
21. So how old are you now?
37.
20. So since you about 16.
Yes.
Okay. And so a big thing for me with getting clean was like family support and things like that. Do you have family support?
I've got family, but most of my family's in addiction as well.
Okay.
And I love them. You know what I'm saying? I shouldn't do it, but I got to love me now, with or without family.
Okay.
And you know, I'm not a high holy Christian, but I do believe there's God,
Mm-hmm.
and there's an enemy, and he had me so wrapped up for so long, and I'm trying, and I'm breaking away every day it gets a little easier, but it gets hard too now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy. And listen, y'all, there are doctor's offices, and there are people here that will help you. Medicaid is now called Trillium in North Carolina. It will pay for your housing, and it's not, nobody's looking for a free ride. But if you've been where I've been, you need a stepping stone. You know what I'm saying? And we have the money here in North Carolina that spend a lot to us to do this. Let's put this money to good use. Let's make these people that are in charge of this money put it where it's supposed to be, not pay the pocket. It's very crooked people who are in charge here.
So were you a resident of Tent City
No,
when they had Tent City? But did you know about Tent
I
City?
did.
Did you ever hang out there?
I visited this stuff from times, but I always felt unsafe there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a lot of what was it? A lot of unsavory activity.
Absolutely. Have you ever been in there?
Yeah, I went in there, did a couple of interviews.
Yeah.
So
And,
with people.
and like I said, some people are comfortable where they are. But I'm not comfortable with mine.
Okay. So have you ever? So during that 16 years, have you ever had a bout of sobriety where you kind of got on your feet, got a job, got a place to stay, or it's been like
Yeah.
the whole
Yeah. But
just
that's
jail?
Yeah.
Just jail. That's the only time you kind of sobered up was when you was in jail. So, and you mentioned committing to your lifestyle or who you are, right? Has that ever got you in a bad position out here? In the
I was
streets?
always real with who I was.
Okay.
But it's playing like I was born a woman.
Uh huh.
I am a transgender woman now, but playing like I was born a woman, I always knew was very dangerous.
Okay.
Because I've been in bigger cities where I've seen girls that were dead on the sidewalk.
Uh huh.
People walking up like it didn't matter.
Okay.
And and of course everybody swears up and down, and we don't know if that's the problem, but everybody assumes at first, well, she must told somebody she was a woman, and they found out.
Uh huh.
Okay. Unless you dumb, deaf, and blind, you know.
Uh huh.
You know what I'm saying? Now, when I was younger, I was very passable. And
You said you was very passable.
Yes.
Okay.
But I tried my best to be real. Now, if I was feeding from the drugs, I ain't gonna sit here and tell you I ain't never done it, because I've done it.
Okay.
That's what we call
Did
it.
what you call it?
Playing fish.
Playing fish.
Yes.
That's what they called
That's
it.
what
Playing.
I did that.
So when you did it, did anybody ever catch you playing fish?
No. Afterward, like a week down the road, they tried to come at me, but I mean.
Did they ever try to hurt you, or you? What did you say when they found out?
Well, first, I felt like I was in the right, but I wasn't. I was in the wrong because I lied.
You lied.
I deceived. I didn't lie, but I deceived to get what I needed.
Uh
You
huh.
know what I'm saying? I was feeling addiction. But if they came at me, I'm like, look, it is what it is. I apologize to you, and I really didn't mean that, and it made me feel very, very sad about myself inside, because anytime you have to be someone you're not
Mm-hmm.
to get by, that's a very sad situation.
Yeah.
And I would never do that again, ever. I don't care what it entails. I'm a transgender woman. I'm beautiful. God made me just like He made anybody else. You know what I'm saying?
So what came first, the addiction or your, I guess your transition?
I transitioned when I was 12.
12.
I knew who I was.
So you never was into girls
No,
as a young, you never played sports or anything?
I was cheerleader.
You was a cheerleader. I mean, like before 12, dude.
Before 12, I was a youngin'. You know what I'm saying? But
Oh, okay.
I remember when I was little, I used to drink. I was a princess. I was on Barbie dolls, and
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? Like I knew I'm Brit. You know what I'm saying? God made me who I am for a reason.
So that guy who just called your name, he just called you Brittany too. How did you know him?
That's a really good friend of mine. We've known each other, from the streets and stuff. Being out here.
Oh,
You
okay.
know what I'm saying? It's nothing like that. I don't have a boyfriend because I need to learn how to love me before I can let anybody else love me.
Uh-huh.
And I want to know what I like and what I don't like. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know. I know I
Uh-huh.
like men. I do know that. I'm attracted to men. I'm not attracted to women because nobody chooses who they're attracted to. It's
Okay.
still in you. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? It's part of your makeup.
Okay.
Now, have I seen beautiful women? Absolutely, absolutely. Have I ever looked at a woman like, oh, I hear that, y'all do or men do. That's
Did
never
you
been my
ever do?
thing.
Did you look at her like that?
I haven't, no, never,
Oh,
never.
never. So you.
She's a cute girl. You know what I mean? But sisters, and listen to me, please, all my women in the world,
Mm,
let's help each other out and stop worrying about what we don't have that someone else has. You
uh-huh.
know what I'm saying? Sisterhood is a big thing that people need to learn, especially this new generation, because they're mean and they make you hurt their ass. These little young kids, for real. I'm sorry, excuse
Uh-huh.
my language,
Yeah,
but
you good.
the world has gone evil, and it's not okay. You know what I'm saying? We need to get back to some values that I think have been forgotten.
Uh-huh.
You can be transgender, you can still have morals and be somebody in the world. If you're gonna make a transition like I did, I would never recommend this to anyone.
Mm-hmm.
I would never want my child or somebody I really love to go through this. But
Okay.
I will say this: please, 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 people, if you're gonna be a transit, do us right. Show us that we are not a stigma. We're not we on the corner, selling our ass, doing drugs, putting needles on our arm. Let's be running stuff. Let's own businesses. You know what I'm saying? Let's be in a position where the community love us to be there.
So why wouldn't you advise someone to be who you are or be like
Because of
you
the
are?
prejudice that I felt and how it hurt me.
You said what
The
now?
prejudice that I've been through.
The prejudice.
Yeah, that I've been through and how it truly hurt me and affected me.
Oh, okay. So now you're able to deal with that. Like, have you ever had to have counseling as far as your past
Well,
hurts and
I've
things
been
like that?
recommended, and at the end, I went through conversations I never followed through because I'm so contradiction. I can interrupt you.
Yeah, you good.
But if I'm talking fast, I'm sorry. I'm trying my
You
best to
fine.
learn that. But no, but counseling actually would be an absolutely, absolutely great thing for me to do. But like I said, the addiction was so prevalent, it didn't matter to me. Now getting clean, I think counseling or therapy would be a very good thing for anybody. You know, do I feel like me being a transgender person is a mental illness? No, I don't.
Okay.
Okay,
You
now
know, there's some people who feel that way though, right?
and that's more than welcome to feel
Okay.
that. But I know textbook it's not in the. I've read it and it used to be.
It used to
It's
be
just
in
not
it.
gender
So why do
identity
you
shit.
think that is though? So let's talk
Because I
about
think
it.
okay.
Why do you think that?
Just because something's old school don't mean it's always right.
Okay. All
You know what I'm
right.
saying?
All right.
Just like a
Okay.
lot of new stuff isn't right. That's like I don't agree with 5-year-old boys being like painting their nails and say, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't agree with that. You know what I'm saying? Now, someone like, I ain't want to paint my nails. I ain't think about stuff like that. But see, being transgender has become a trend. It's not a trend. There's a difference
Okay.
between a transsexual and a transvestite. Excuse me, a drag queen. All right?
Okay. What's the difference?
The difference is drag queen dressed up and put, it's a show, it's an act.
But they not really. They not really. Or they can be too. Cause I
They do
heard
if they
of the
want to.
dudes who dress up and then they still be with women and
Right, yes,
that kind of
absolutely. That's a
crazy
drag queen.
stuff.
You know what I'm saying? It's actually a lucrative career to get into these actually.
Okay.
But I was born in the wrong body, and you don't have to agree with it or you can agree with it.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Brittany Lucas. I am a transgender female. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life, but I know I can be an asset to someone's company and Goldsboro. This is the community I'm supposed to serve in. So I'm going to get myself well,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't care if it takes 10, 20 years down the road. I'm
Mm-hmm.
coming back, and when I come back, I'm coming correct.
Okay. Well, it's always good when you first get out of recovery is not to go back
Oh,
to
I'm
the
not going. I'm
place
coming
that you
back.
came.
I'm definitely well.
Uh-huh.
No matter how long it takes.
Yeah. So when you were little, when you started, you say your parents were your family was in addiction. Like, who did you live with?
All of my mother. My mother was an alcoholic. My father he used to sell heroin and then he became a heroin addict.
Okay.
My father ran with Ike Axton, really.
Who?
Ike Axton, only with my mother.
Oh yeah,
My
Ike
father really ran
Atkinson.
with
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
Yeah,
Anybody don't know who go Ike Atkinson? You not from Goldsboro, but Ike Atkinson was actually one of the guys who the movie
Frank Lucas.
American Lucas was made. I mean, American Gangster was made. He was actually the main guy. Frank Lucas wasn't the main guy. But so you
My
grew
dad
up.
was one of the runners.
Okay, so you grew up in that environment.
I did.
Oh, okay. So you've always,
That's all
kind
I've
of.
ever known.
Oh,
and
okay.
it was nothing
Was
abnormal.
there any positive influences?
Younger, I remember. You know who my positive influence was when I was younger?
Who that?
Whitney Houston.
Oh,
I
okay.
remember, not, because I can't sing or anything like that, but I remember just thinking, it's a whole other world out here. You know what I'm saying? And like, and like I said, I was never made to apply myself, or because my mother was so drunk, my father was so high. Um, was there positive influence, like as far as like in the home or immediate to me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. So everything around you was
absolutely.
kind of. So did anybody ever try to stop you from going out in the
In the
streets?
streets.
Yeah.
Um,
Huh?
no.
Oh, okay. So
Majority of the city because I was money. You know what I'm saying? And those city they didn't care about me. I thought I was, I thought, who loved me? That, but no, they didn't love me. Anybody you love, you're not gonna do it. You
oh,
know what I'm
okay.
saying?
So as far as being homeless, right? How are you, or how are you going to come back and help the homeless?
Because I'm showing this different ways. Because when you become your homeless as long as I was, it does something to your brain. It becomes a mental illness
Okay.
as well. You know what I'm saying? Like it's so crazy because when I got, I had access to lights and water and shower for the first time in a long time. You know, just not recently. It was like when I got in the shower, I was scared. It was like I was kind of scared of it. It was like, and I'm saying I'm dirty. It was just like it was like I was scared to take my top off. It was a weird feeling when I used the bathroom. And please listen to me.
Okay.
This becomes a mental illness. Your body starts forgetting that it deserves better. You know
Okay.
what I mean? And it becomes foreign to you. Now, was I dirty out there? No. I went and wash up the water hose every day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you know,
You talking about
that was a shower to
when
me.
you was
You know what
staying
I
over
mean?
there in the house that burned
Right,
down?
yeah, that was a shower to me. You know what I'm saying? And when I got in that shower and realized, oh my God, hot water can stay on by itself. And of course I knew this, but realizing that's how a human being is supposed to be. That's not luxury that are necessities that we need to live. Like I said, your brain starts to get that. Kind of like children that are abused.
Mm-hmm.
The brain starts to get this.
Were you ever abused as a child?
I'm gonna say yeah,
Because
absolutely, because I wasn't raised like that.
yeah, I mean like
Like you mean like
S abuse,
you mean like
molest. Because
sexual abuse?
a lot, yeah, a lot of
One
people.
time I remember there was a man that I'm gonna come to him, but I know he disappeared and I remember him talking about him touching us.
Oh, okay. So
Mm-hmm.
because people say that's a lot of reasons why people kind of transition.
And
Would you
it
say
may,
that's
it may,
true?
it may well be. I wouldn't say it's true in all cases. In a lot of
Mm-hmm.
cases, it probably is. But I believe that I was born this way. As a matter of fact, I know I was born this way.
Mm-hmm.
And if you really really like read up on it, and I've always been educated. I always loved to learn. You know what I mean? You should never stop being stupid.
Mm-hmm.
You learn from anybody. But there's a hormone in the back of my neck that's smaller than yours. Men who dress like women or consider themselves
That's a
female.
hormone in the back of your
That's the only
neck.
thing different that science is, but they're not saying that that's the reason why. But
That
they're
but
saying that's the only thing different about me is from you. You know what I'm
so
saying?
one in my neck is bigger than yours. How do
Yeah, that's
they
right. Great
know?
average male.
Uh,
Because I guess they done science, but
it,
that's the only research I can find on it.
uh,
So
yeah.
I took time alone to realize and wonder why I was different. Because I wanted to know why I felt this way.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know why I had to be different. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, growing up and me trying to be who I was very, very, very insecure. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? And people think I'm this confident person, but I'm really not. I'm not.
Okay. So, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In five
Let's
years, I
say
see
five
myself
years. You 30 what?
37,
36, 37?
37.
Okay. So you see yourself.
I see myself running a nonprofit to help the homeless and to have a place where women can go and be safe every night. Even if they don't want to get clean, whatever. They need somewhere where they can be safe.
Uh huh.
You know what I'm saying? And have the resources there available to them if they decide at that time that they want something different. You know what I'm saying? Just a house safe where women can wash up, lay down, and be safe. Don't have to worry about sleeping with a man for it or doing this for it. You know what I'm saying? Or have to rob and steal for it. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? Because there's enough money in the world to do this. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
it
saying? There's
is.
enough
Yeah,
resources in the world where we don't have, nobody should be in situations that we're in.
homeless. But like you said, some people want to be out on the streets and be
And that's
homeless.
cool, do that. But I promise you, eventually it will get to the point where you want to do that, but you can't get out of it.
So are you there right now? You at the point where you want to get out of it?
I'm going to get out of
You're
it.
going to get out of it.
Yes,
Okay, but you have been to the point where you don't want to get
I
out
have.
of it.
Absolutely. I didn't want better.
Okay.
I didn't think
So
there was better. I forgot that there were good people in the world. And there was a better way. I had forgot that. But now, I know there is. And now I've seen addiction that people have been clean for 10, 5, 10, 20 years. And I see the other side. And I see this peace on me that I'm craving. And that's my new antidote. I want peace and happiness.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Like I said, I'm 5 years sober in November 19th, so I know it can be done. And then once you get that taken care of, all of the other, whether it's pain.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Now you go ahead. Go ahead.
Do you think marijuana's a drug?
Well, for me, because I know what it does to me. Like right now, I don't want any mind altering substance because like I like just like I started smoking marijuana at 12.
Me
So
too.
like
Yeah.
I was high for like 6 years straight.
It
So
got like drug, period.
me,
No.
you know what I'm saying? Like for me right now, I don't want nothing that's going to cloud my vision because my vision just been clouded all my life. But for some people, it's it's they don't consider it. So what do you think?
I think that it's a gateway drug. It leads to other things, but I guess marijuana is a drug. It offers any mood altering substance to me is a drug. Whether it be caffeine, whether it be sex, whether it be whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because people can be addicted to eating. You know what I'm saying? Let me tell you this, and to a lot of people who are on fentanyl. Okay, I went to Terry Hospital, and I did a detox with their comfort meds. I'm on Suboxone, I'm on methadone. I did slip once, and see, that's the good thing about that. If you feel the need, and you feel like, because I was like that too, where I felt like that's the only way I was going to do it. And I'm not going to say I won't get on it now, but I do know that me being truly sober for the first time in my life that I can remember, I like being in control.
Yeah, definitely.
I kind of do, you know what I'm saying? And I like it. To me, like things I used to think were boring, like reading and stuff, it's so interesting to me right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I have forgot.
Yeah. You forget the things that you used to like to do when you was a
And
kid, like reading.
I want to know what it feels like to be taken seriously in a room and people listen. And not, I hate to see me coming.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Think you talking crazy. Cause when you stopped me, I was like, okay, what do you want? What you want? But you really, like you said, you wanted to send a message out as far as helping the homeless. You're homeless right now. You had a place up there. So where did you go after that place burned down? Where would you, where was you? I
I went to the
guess
streets.
making it. Yeah.
I went to the streets and
So like, what do you mean? Like, so did you sleep like under benches
no,
in the
no, 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 no,
woods?
no,
Like,
no. I didn't. There was another abandoned house over on Slocum Street that I went to.
oh, okay.
But
So
when I
there's
went
a
there,
lot of abandoned
there
houses
are
in
a
here.
lot, there are a lot. And let me tell you this, I had nothing to do. I won't even home or nothing like that. And if you don't want to do that, it's been middle of winter, okay? If people hate me that bad, I'm sorry, okay? I'm leaving.
But there's a lot of places. Like I walk around like
Yeah.
I walked around probably like 5 or 6 blocks
Yeah.
about 3 weeks
And
ago
it's
and
still
found
homeless
100. It's 100 empty abandoned houses, and I can look at them and tell, okay, well somebody's sleeping in here.
Yeah,
Somebody's been. So
the
there's
homeless shelters like the House of Fordham,
yeah.
they choose who they want to help, and that's not fair. Nonprofit.
But I
God
think they
chooses.
charge $50 though, right? No, they charge
Or you can
$50 a
work it
week.
off, or you can work it off, which is, I agree with that, whatever. But the thing about it is God sends you a nonprofit organization with people. You have work rates, they're donating you money to do this good. You should pick and choose who you want to do. God sends you who you need. Now, if a person goes in there and break the rules, this, and the third, okay, cool. But if someone is considered gay, transgender, the House of Fordham won't take them.
Okay,
And
they
it's not
won't.
right. It's
Okay,
not right. These
they,
Christian-based rehabs won't take me because I'm transgender, and it's not right.
okay.
Everybody is worthy of God's love.
Okay.
And create all of us. Okay.
Okay.
And nonprofits should be run just like it should be a rule or a law, in North Carolina where it's first come, first served basis, as long as you meet the requirements. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a point. You got a point there.
Because these people that who are allowed these funds to help, they choose they want to help.
They
Some of the people that they help don't
Don't need it.
help.
Don't need it.
Because their family, this and the third, that's not fair. You know what I'm saying?
So you feel like you are one of the ones that need the help, but they won't help you because of your
Absolutely.
your
I've had, now listen,
the way you live your
listen,
life.
Before, I wasn't ready. You know what I'm saying? And I know that. And there were people that reached out to me, and I let them down. I'm gonna say I'm not gonna let nobody down in the future, but I know this time now I care about me now.
Okay.
Every day, a little bit more and more. I realize now that I deserve everybody else got. Excuse me, what everybody else had. I really, I deserve more. I'm just like that. I'm sorry, let me play back. That sounds terrible. I want more for me now because I want to see what I can become.
Exactly.
I'm not better than nobody. I'm not less than nobody. And that's what I had to learn. You know what I'm saying? We are all equal in this world. And equality is a very big thing that people need to realize. You know, and if you need to realize that people are going to be different, and you're going to see it your whole life. You know, people that I promise you I can learn. I'm quick on my feet. I'm a good talker. I'm a good listener.
Yeah, I can tell you're intelligent. Yeah.
I'm not slow by no means. So if anybody needs any help doing any kind of work, real work, legal work, you know what I'm saying? I would be more than happy to oblige and try my best to do the best I can do for you. And like I said, let's take some of these abandoned homes. There's money here, y'all. There's money in that sheriff's office. There's money that are being, and these funds are being wasted on things that they shouldn't be wasted on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just like that Monarch thing, not the Monarch, the Dixon rehab, the jail they have.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
I actually was gonna work with them.
We don't need that. We need housing for these people getting out of jail.
Okay.
For 3-4 years, have lost everything they got. You know what I'm saying? Families and everything, jobs.
Yeah.
That's what we need. We need transportation back and look for jobs. We don't need you to come pick us up from our corner, our street corner we live at, and take us to a class for an hour a day and take us right back.
Yeah,
we don't need food when we ain't got to run to the store or cookies.
Yeah.
To get our homeless
resources. Yeah, that's
and
you make it. There's a lot of quote unquote programs for the homeless, but they just a band-aid. Like, okay, well, yeah, we're gonna take. Yeah, you're right.
Let's get in sync, okay?
Yeah.
Let's get these programs. Let's get them where if they're needing, they're doing good, and like you said, you're seeing fruits from the labor. Okay, let's line them up where they go inside. You get out of jail, you get you something called bridge housing, like maybe take one of these big old houses, you know, that are just sitting there rotting away. Okay, you get them in there give them a 2-week trial basis. You know what I'm saying? After the 2 weeks, you know what I'm saying, the third week, they make a clue, pass the drug test. That'd be a rent for sure. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Make sure you make the class a day, or a meeting a day, excuse me. You know what I'm saying? The next 2 weeks, job search. Now everybody's not gonna find a job in 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? And trust me, it was very hard for me to get. When I seek employment, it's very hard for me. You know what I'm saying? I know how to dress classy and all that. You know, I had to dress business casual like you're supposed to.
Business casual.
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I know how to go in there and not say too much and not say too less. I know how to fill applications. I know, you know what I'm saying? Let's teach classes on that. Okay? Let's have classes about that too with addiction. Okay? Yes, you could, but see, you can rehab somebody to death. Okay? Have fun. It's okay to have fun in recovery. It's okay. You know what I'm saying? It's okay. It's okay to take a day off. You know, that's like I think that's why a lot of these rehabs are feeling too, because they get you in there like healing transitions. It's a beautiful program. It's a beautiful idea. But 7 days a week of rehab. You know what I'm saying? You know, if they're going to mess out, don't kick somebody out because drug addicts are going to mess up. They're going to mess up. That's what that's what real life is.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Let's give them a 3-strike rule at least. You know what I'm saying?
3 strikes.
Yeah. You know, and if the people who really want are going to do it. You know, let's put this funding where it needs to be. It's like that jail with that Suboxone program they got. It's a beautiful program. But anytime you prescribe an opioid for maintenance, you need to have an aftercare plan and a discharge plan. When they get out of this jail, then they're right back out there in the same boat and they're detoxing off of the Suboxone after about a week. Because and then they're going to pick up again because they're never revolving door. They're setting you up for failure.
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
Yes, you will make a good rehab counselor. That's what somebody said. In a home care, you'll make her.
I want to be a PCP manager for Trillium.
Yeah.
Sure funds are being used.
Okay. Yeah. That's who makes them. That's who makes them. But I appreciate you for talking. And you know, like I said, if anybody wants to help out, you know, 919-587-7782. We are in Goldsboro, North Carolina. Just talking to a formerly homeless individual that now she's trying to get her life together. And so hope this inspired somebody. She says going to get her life together. So I hope this inspired. Thank you for talking with me.
You have a ghost on me, right? For this, can you create one? I don't want, finance or whatever, but if we can probably, maybe I can get your contact information, we can put it together where we can get some kind of funds, we can open the house, or you know what I'm saying? Something. We can do this, y'all. We can do this. We can see people change. So.
Yeah, we can, like I said, we'll work on some things. I got some people that want to, but that's a hard thing because we got a lot of individuals who see the problem, but a lot of people don't want to put forth the work. They rather put the money into
But
other
see, I feel like
things.
if we see people actually really trying to put this work in, I'll be more willing to do whatever I can do. I had business administration, like I said, I got control of money, whatever. That'll be up to you. You know what I'm saying? I feel like you be good with that.
Yeah,
But we can do this, y'all, and let's get it done. Let's don't ride past somebody and talk about how sad it is. You know what I'm saying? Let's do something
definitely,
about it.
definitely. All right, appreciate y'all for tuning in. What's
Absolutely.
going on with you,
Oh,
man?
sorry.
All right,
And
so
thanks,
yeah,
y'all. Have a
all
good
right.
night.
Good to see you. Good to
You
see you.
too.
Good to
Yeah.
see you again.
I had been wanting to get up with you so bad.
Yep.
And
So
yeah, and I was like, I'm so glad we did this. How do I get? How like, what is it? How do I contact you?
just get
Like,
me
do I
on
email you or
YouTube.
YouTube? So I just
Yeah,
put
yeah,
Richard
Taylor
Taylor.
Publishing
That's why I
House
couldn't find
at
you because I
Gmail.
was Richard Moore. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah, you kept
Yeah,
saying Richard
that's right.
Richard Moore. I'm Richard
Yeah,
Taylor.
Richard Taylor. Okay, thank you, Richard. Please
All
do
right.
this and this homeless thing. So I'm passionate about.
I got you. Yeah, I'm serious about the homeless too. I've been working on some
Yeah,
things.
we can
So
do it. We can do it. Yeah.
okay.
All right, thank you.
All right. So we are in Goldsboro, North Carolina, and I appreciate y'all for tuning in. That was just an impromptu interview. That um person, you know, was at a house that burnt up probably like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I did a little interview, and just kind of getting the feel of it. Goldsboro does have a lot of homeless people in this town. It's a small town, about 50,000 people. There are a lot of abandoned houses, so um, not a lot of, not a lot of, not a lot of initiative in making sure people get the right resources. There are a lot of programs where people they said they give food out. They um, take them to classes, but are they really helping the people, get free instead of just, getting their insurance, getting their donations. Okay, we feed, 70 homeless people a day. So therefore we need $200,000 a year that y'all give us so we can do it. So yeah, that's good for the organization. But if you're just, as the saying goes, if you give a man a fish, he eats for a day. But if you teach a man to fish, then they'll eat for a lifetime. So that's what we have a lot of times with these programs, whereas they're kind of band-aids on situations. so so but yeah, that's one thing. There's a lot of homeless in this area, as well as a lot of homeless everywhere. Like the biggest homeless thing that I saw was when I was in LA, and they had we had a thing called Tent City in Goldsboro, and they had a tent city in the woods, but like in LA they have literally people living under bridges. And the next crackhead to talk to on the list is my father. They get paid to sleep inside, and they still choose to camp out. Skid Row. Yep, you're right. It's Skid Row, and they was they literally had like couches and beds. Like they had almost apartment complexes under the bridge, and I'm like, yo, that's very intricate. Like you would see them sitting out watching TV and everything. Like they had it set up, so that was strange to me. But then when I went into the woods out here, I saw some of the same thing about people. They had their own little apartments, they had their own little complexes, and they had the whole hierarchy. One dude had a wooden gate. If you go back, probably like the middle the middle of this year, when they was kicking him out, one dude had a gate around his like tent, like, and so they were very resourceful in their homelessness. But once again, with all of these resources in America, nobody should be homeless. Nobody should be living on the streets. Nobody should be in a position where they sleeping out, especially in this cold, man. Like I said, like if you go back a couple of weeks back, you should see Oregon. They have a whole freeway. Yeah, mental health. Yeah, mental health. Yeah, and a lot of it, a lot of the people that was out there that I saw, they do suffer from mental health situations too. So I'm not saying that that doesn't play a part in it, but the whole homeless thing is a national problem. Like I said, it's there's so many things that go into homelessness. I see sober sane people that's homeless standing out of their cars because they just don't make enough money and they don't got good credit. They probably been in trouble. Like I had a young homeboy. He was standing out of his car, going to work, washing up at the truck stop, trying to make ends meet. Then one day he went to work and somebody towed his car with all this stuff in it, and now he was just like, I seen him. He was down bad on his luck. He was working. He just didn't. He had broke up with his girlfriend or something like that. So he was kind of staying out of his car. And then when they took his car, and he was telling me, yeah, well, it's a lot of homeless people that stay in the parking lot where he stayed at. So um, this is real, man. So just thank God that if you are not out in the cold, or if you are not experiencing homelessness or drug addiction or mental health issues, just be thankful. You know what I'm saying? I know sometimes people like to joke, and laughter is good at times, but sometimes you gotta be you got to be you got to be careful on what you joke about, and I don't agree. Just for the record, I see y'all going back and forth in the comments. I don't agree with that lifestyle or whatever, that all of that stuff right there. I don't agree with that. But I see, when I was talking to him, I see a man. Whether I called him a man or not, I still see a man. But I'm I've if there was a time in my life that I would never even have a contact with, talk to people like that. Even the ones who didn't dress like, but I just like, okay, if that's you, God gonna have to judge you for that. You know what I'm saying? I can't judge you for that, but um yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I used to be real disrespectful though. Thank you. I used to be real disrespectful though. So now I just learned, like, okay, being disrespectful ain't going to help me. You know what I'm saying? By making them feel bad, like how can I win them over? To the right way. And that ain't even my job. Okay, what's up? How you doing? This Brittany. You know what I'm saying? Me making them feel bad about it not gonna help them. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not gonna make them feel good about it neither. You know what I'm saying? So, um, selling meth, yeah. Well, you probably can make a lot of money. Yeah, you probably can make a lot of money. Um, yeah, your kind is not even supposed to look within the Bible. Well, it starts talking stupid and read. Nubian Queen, who you going in with? Right? Yeah, man. I be trying to. Yeah, I try to help everybody, man. Like that's sometimes I think sometimes that may be my issue, trying to help everybody. Sometimes um you know y'all stop going Gia and what you call it. I see y'all. Um, but yeah, it's and I see you from Mumbai. Now a lot of those countries over there, they don't play that stuff though. So definitely some people are you got to be careful where you go um with that type of, I guess, lifestyle, whatever you want to call it. So you definitely want to um be careful. But man, y'all have a good night, man. I done been on live for about 2 hours straight. Did an interview. If y'all didn't see the other interview with my sister Kalanda telling her stories, 20 years of a life sentence, sentenced at 19, and she was set free after 20 years of a life without the possibility of parole. So that's we just did that story. You get quite a show a good read of the situation. Appreciate you. So yeah, y'all go check that out. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I appreciate y'all subscribing, liking and sharing. We try to do, a little bit of content, just mostly uplifting content addressing, societal issues, injustice, racism, of course, um, inequality, inequity. But yeah, just check, just check the channel out. Also go to my website, www.taylorhousepublications.com. If you want a good read or you want to publish a book or you want to network, go check that site out. What's up, Burlington? Okay, I see you, Burlington. But yeah, y'all nothing but love, Nubian Queen. I see you, man. TBZ, I see y'all, man. I appreciate y'all. Y'all, Gia Jolie. Who is Gia? Y'all, it not shows. Y'all be easy, man. Y'all come back, like and share the share and subscribe to the channel, man. Y'all have a blessed night. Ain't nothing but love, man. Peace and love.